Welcome back to another episode of ROC Boys Football. We are back in the Big Ten as we're taking a look at a Week 5 preview as Nebraska goes on the road to Rutgers Friday night. Nebraska coming off an impressive win. I'm not saying Indiana's the best team in the Big Ten. I'm not saying they're a great team, period. But beating a Big Ten opponent by 2 scores at home, you have to feel a little bit better if you're a Nebraska fan. I get it. Looking at a 2-3 record 5 weeks into the season, you don't feel great. This team is really, really talented. They obviously have not produced to what that talent says they should. Scott Frost out, Mickey Joseph in. But if you're a Nebraska fan and you're taking a look at the Big Ten West, you're 1-1 in conference play. And you look at the teams in the Big Ten West, Wisconsin just fired their head coach. There's not a team in the Big Ten West where you're like, yep, that's a lock for a Big Ten West champ. So if you want to go to Indy, that goal is still in reach, and that's kind of what college football is about. You're not going to win a national title every year. You're not going to go undefeated every year. But the Big Ten title is still in reach. I think the Big Ten West is still wide open for Nebraska. And I'm excited if this team can build off some momentum, a 14-point win against Indiana, a team that just beat Illinois a couple weeks ago. You're not feeling great, but you're feeling better than you did 2 weeks ago if you're a Nebraska fan. Before we get into it, though, always just want to say thank you guys for all the support you guys have shown the channel, especially the Cornhusker fans. We were out there last year for the Michigan game in Lincoln. Probably not a better fan base in the country than Nebraska. They love their football out there in Nebraska. It was a great time. The fans were awesome. We appreciate you guys. We talk a lot of Nebraska football on the channel just because they're blue blood. We kind of became Nebraska fans after going out there. We love what they're about. So if you guys do like the content, you do like talking ball, consider subscribing. That means a lot for us. We appreciate it. We like talking ball with you guys. Let's start talking some football. And we'll start with Nebraska, talk a little bit about what we saw from them last Saturday, because you started to see them put it together a little bit. Now, Casey Thompson, he's just been inconsistent this year. I mean, even going back to that Northwestern game, started out red hot, and then the offense just kind of sputtered out. The kid has all the talent in the world. He's a very good athlete. He can extend plays outside of the pocket. Accuracy is inconsistent, but when he's pushing the ball down the field, he makes a lot of impressive throws. You look at hitting Oliver Martin up the boundary to open up the scoring, hitting Trey Palmer on that deep pass. Like, he puts it on dots. He's a very, very capable thrower. He just needs to continue to put it together, and quite frankly, the offensive line has not helped him out. The run game has gotten better as Anthony Grant has emerged as that bell cow in the backfield. But again, the offensive line has not protected him very well. They're not very good at picking up blitzes. The communication up there has not been great. I think they're getting better. And if that offensive line continues to put it together, this Nebraska offense can be very dangerous. They are a dangerous offense. They put up over 30 points per game. They run fast when they get that first down. There's a lot to like about this Nebraska offense. I think they just continue to just become more consistent with their play. And that goes for the offensive line, that goes for the quarterback, and that goes for the wide receivers. The wide receivers, I thought, looked very good. I mean, you saw Trey Palmer kind of emerge as that dude against Indiana. The speed he has vertically down the field, the ability to go up and catch footballs, very impressive. Oliver Martin, the transfer from Michigan, Iowa to Nebraska, he's been in college football for a while. As a Michigan fan, I remember him getting some significant playing time for Michigan. He's a guy that needs to shore up those hands, but he gets separation. He's really good over the middle of the field. Excited to see if he can kind of compound, put together a couple more big games. Guys like Marcus Washington. Travis Vokalek is a dog at tight end. I would like to see him get more touches. I know he was banged up with some injuries to begin the year. There's a lot of weapons on this Nebraska offense that you feel really good about. And when you look about how they stack up against Rutgers, the one thing that if you want to beat this Nebraska team and want to really kind of get after Nebraska on the offense side of football, you got to have a good pass rush. When you look at Rutgers, they're a very, very good defensive team. But I wouldn't say they have those dogs up front to really impact the passer like some of the other teams like Oklahoma that we saw Nebraska play in the past. And so I do really like this matchup for Nebraska. But Rutgers is a solid team. They want to slow the game down. They want to kind of play some defense football. They have one of the best punters in the country. They like backing teams up, having their defense play, kind of having the opposing offense play kind of in the shadow of their goalpost. They don't necessarily try to run up the score. They try to keep it kind of slow. They like to play defensive brand of football. Now, when I look at this Rutgers offense, I think they're just too one-dimensional. Evan Simon hasn't been a guy that he hasn't really put it together. 4 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. He turns the ball over. They don't have a go-to running back. Their running game, when you look at what they've done on the ground, they're only averaging, what is that? A little less than 4 yards per carry. Their running game is not great. Their passing game certainly is not good. That Rutgers offense, I just think, is a little too one-dimensional. The offense as a whole doesn't really inspire me. And when you look at Nebraska on the defense side of the ball, I think you saw their defense get some confidence against Indiana. Obviously, you had the defensive touchdown. But other than that, there's a couple drives where Indiana started to move the ball. But Nebraska was pretty damn good on defense last week. I mean, you saw a guy like Garrett Nelson, who I was raving about in the summer. He put it together. 2 sacks, a tackle for a loss. O'Shawn Mathis, we're still waiting on it. Caleb Tanner, some of those guys in the front 7, they're good football players. I really do think at this point it's a confidence thing. I think they just need to start playing some good football, feel themselves play some good football, and really start to put it together. The linebackers have been probably, if you're looking at a disappointment for Nebraska football, those 2 linebackers, Luke Reimer, Nick Heinrich, 2 guys that preseason All-Americans, tackle machines. I don't think they've been great. I think Luke Reimer had a nice game against Indiana, but again, I would like to see those guys play a little bit better football. The secondary has some guys that I like. They just haven't been very consistent. You obviously see the passing yards Nebraska's allowed, 269. They have played some good offenses. Like OU is a very good offense. They will run up the score. They kind of inflate those stats a little bit. Let's get to the pick here. Nebraska, 3-point favorites on the road. I don't love going with road favorites, but Rutgers, it's a tough place to play. There's some optimism about this Rutgers team, but I just think that from a talent standpoint, I think Nebraska should win this football game like they should have beaten Georgia Southern, like they should have beaten Northwestern. I love Nebraska seemingly getting healthy in a spot where they're coming off a big win. There's a little bit more optimism around the program. I think some confidence within the players. I like Nebraska to cover 3 points here against a Rutgers team that I don't think has enough firepower to kind of hang with Nebraska. You look at that offense, there's not a guy that you look at on that offense side of football and say, oh, he's gonna beat Nebraska up. And on the defense side of the ball, they play a very, very aggressive, solid brand of defense. But I don't see a playmaker that's going to be like, he's going to be the one disrupting this Nebraska offense. I think a lot of it just has to do with, can Nebraska play B-plus football? They will win this game. Now, if they play C-minus football like they've been playing for the first couple of weeks, they won't win this football game. You didn't even see Nebraska play A football against Indiana. They probably played B-minus football, still were able to beat Indiana by 14 points. When you look at the Georgia Southern, when you look at the Northwestern games, they were playing C-minus, maybe even D football. But again, if this Nebraska team plays B-plus football, they're going to win on the road. They're going to cover the 3 points. And then if you're a Nebraska fan, you're 2-1 in conference play, and you look at that schedule. I mean, it's a gettable schedule. The Big Ten West is not a – there's not many teams that you're feeling like you can't beat if you're Nebraska, even with how you guys have struggled early on in the season. I'm taking Nebraska to cover 3 points. I will be watching this game, and I'm just excited to see Nebraska, see if they can continue this momentum. Scott Frost out, Mickey Joseph in. Give me Nebraska covering the 3 points. It's not one that I feel great about. There's not a game this year that I'll feel great about betting with Nebraska. But again, I just think the talent on both sides of the ball are in favor of Nebraska. They're coming off a win at home. I think the team is feeling a little bit more confident. I really think that's all this team needs, is just a little bit of confidence. Feel playing good football, and I think they will start to play better football. Appreciate you guys checking us out. Again, we love talking ball. Let us know in the comment section what you guys have in this game, especially the Cornhuskers. I'm excited for this game. It's going to be a fun one, and we'll talk to y'all later.